See how it goes. Hey, everybody. Joe Lower here from Analog Man Cave, and it's the party time. 3,500 of you maniacs joined. Appreciate it. Ain't a shit ton of you. A couple dozen you joined as members. So this is awesome. And Mike is here, and he followed the advice and brought his own bottle of something. All right. Thank you very much. And I'm rocking the old fashioned here because I'm old and I'm old fashioned myself. So, and I'm trying to perfect. I've been messing with the recipe for an old fashioned for about 1.5 years now. I've been trying to perfect this baby. So I'm a little here, a little there. Every time I go to a bar, I get one. I ask what the recipe is. So, just fine.
I had a bartender in New Orleans tell me one time the trick is in the bitters. You need a lot more bitters, like 6 to 8 shakes of bitters.
That's it.
To really do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the real funny ones, you got different kinds of bitters. I got 6 or 7 different kinds of bitters, like apple bitters and this and that. And yeah, so it's pretty good. Oh, I have to turn on Facebook because they suck. Otherwise, I'm defaulted to streaming only to myself on Facebook, which is retarded. Edit audience, public. Everybody could watch now. All right, let's check here. Are we on Rumble? Yes, we are. All right, we got the Rumble thing going on. Very good. Very good. Let me mute that. All right, Rumble is on. Facebook is on. Oh, I'm hearing myself somewhere. Son of a bitch. Is that through Rumble? There it is. All right. Yeah. Rumble's now off. All right. And, yep, it looks like we're going live on YouTube as well. Life is good there. And is Twitch going? Is Twitch going? Let's see. It is. Holy hell. It's all working. Yeah, this is good. Every time something works, I feel like Hannibal from the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together.
Because it's so freaking hard to figure out all this technology.
I know. But the older we get, the harder it gets. You know what I mean? Raptor 7 is here. That's how I know I'm on Rumble, when Raptor shows up. I married my bartender 22 years later. Nice. That's Angels. Nice. Yeah. 7:30 a.m. here. Holy crap. Have a coffee then, Panther. Where the hell are you, Panther? It's 7:30. Jesus, man. 7:30 a.m. Dark Winter's here. Dan Jamin is here. Nice. Dan Jamin. All right. I like that. All right. Yeah, I can't tell. Mike, are you on your channel? Did you check to see if it's going?
Yeah. Let's see if it's doing anything over there. Yep, it's broadcasting there. My first official broadcast. I've popped my live stream cherry. Oh, I hate this.
Oh, nice. Gross, but nice. I have 2 different kinds of cherries in here.
No, it is an old fashioned. You're allowed. So.
What's that?
I said it's an old fashioned. You're allowed, right?
That's it. I figure. I got the 2 different kinds. I got the maraschino one, then I got those dark ones that are dipped in like some kind of syrupy alcohol. Yeah, I forget what the hell.
Oh, yeah.
It's freaking expensive. $24 for a little jar. It's like, Jesus, man, you don't fuck around with that,
I've got a 12-year-old Glenn Murray in my favorite. If anybody ever watched Archer, this is a custom Glenn Gooley. Archer used to drink Glenn Gooley Blue.
Nice.
Some friends made me these glasses from the Archer TV show.
That was a great show. I really enjoyed the hell out of that.
First 2 or 3 seasons were awesome.
Yeah. Then it got a little weird, but I love that. I mean, I love Pam. Remember the one when she got on coke and lost 300 pounds because she was like snorting like 400 lines a day? It was great, man. Jesus Christ. That Shark is in the house. What's up, man? Oh, Australia. Okay. Australia. That makes sense. All right. Shark Semper Fi. You posted about Wizards of the Coast latest. Which mess are we talking about? I can't keep track of their damn messes, Jesus. Yeah, Shark. I agree. Fresh coffee and Bailey's, because you could always put Bailey's in coffee and it justifies whatever you're trying to do there, So, yeah, you're good to go with Bailey's. Yep. Yeah, things are coming in, guys. So this is for you and for us to celebrate 3,500 people, because hell yeah, hell yeah. Ooh, I'm getting all kinds of alerts here. I didn't turn off my phone here. 3,500 subs, and it's been a haul. I mean, it's weird because the first 1,000 or so came pretty quick because I was beating Matt Jackson. We were having a contest. And by the way, he still owes me $100 to my favorite charity and dinner, bitch. So you better get your ass up here, man. So. You're going to ShireCon. I think he might actually make it this year. But thank you, Matthew Sherman. I think he might make it this year, but he just got married. So you know how that is. Just like the clamps on the balls, and you can't do much anymore. You lose your life and all that. So yeah. So we'll see if he actually does make it up. But first 1,000 were good. Then then I took some time off here and there and did it, but it was weird because I was growing without even doing anything, a few a day, and 1 or 2 or 3 sometimes. And then all of a sudden, that guy Sklanders popped up during me and Eric's competition to get the 5,000, and he says, "Hey, you're it's gonna be a lot harder now because YouTube told me they're not pumping YouTube D&D channels anymore," and that did take a hit. So these last 1,000 were 10 times harder to get than the first 1,000. I got to say.
I remember you guys were doing the Shadow Dark thing on Mondays, and then suddenly you popped up one Saturday with like, "I'm climbing a mountain with my brother" or something. And
yeah.
You're out there chasing snakes with a stick or something. I forgot. But I'm like, well, this is pretty damn cool. This is a nice break in the action.
Yeah, something a little different. It was nice because we had decent weather. I'm going to get back to the hiking thing soon, as soon as the weather kind of sort of makes it easier for us. Because where I like to hike is a place called Sleeping Giant State Park. They got a lot of different trails, and there's a tower up top there. It's in Hamden, Connecticut. So if you ever in the area or something like that, whoever's in the area wants to go on a hike with me, you let me know. Figure it out, as long as you're not a serial killer type or anything like that, and definitely if you're a smoking hot chick who likes fat dudes with ponytails, then definitely hit me up, But yeah. So it's a nice time, and I just like to get out there, but it's just too cold, too icy. So I didn't want to kill myself. If I fall, I'm breaking ankle. There's nobody out there. Forget about it. I'm barefoot at that point, So I don't want to deal with that, man.
Aren't you and your brother doing a fireside thing tomorrow, Joe?
Tonight, actually. Tonight. It's tonight at 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm banging a lot of shit out.
Wow.
Tomorrow is the
you're going to play through the pain with a. You're going to play through the pain with a buzz and go all the way till about midnight tonight. Then straight.
Oh, it's going to be a good night. Yeah. He lives really pretty close to me, so I'll not do too much here, before I drive, and then I'll hit his place. I'll probably head out of here about 7:30, 7:45. Got to get everything set up over there, for the 9 o'clock show. So it gives us a couple hours here to hang out and chill, an hour and a half or so.
Those are fun though. I mean, some of the first stuff I saw from you on YouTube was like, well, this is a pretty cool format. You don't even see the guys; they're out in the dark. Yeah. You just see this fire. They're probably smoking something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The discussion was, what it reminded me of is being a kid. My brothers were older; they never played D&D, but my friends, we all did, or a lot of us did. It was always like that. We'd go play football or baseball or something, then come in the summertime and go play D&D for 2 hours and go back outside.
Yeah. We did the opposite. We never left the house. AC and D&D. That was that. That's all we did, man. Oh God, yeah. Fat dudes with ponytails unite, amen. Yeah. So what we're going to plan on doing is before, our fire pit was always just me sitting there next to him in front of the fire with a phone, and we would just like put on record, and then I'd send myself the recording later, right? But what I'm doing, and what I would do is this audio recording, and then I'd get into a video editing software, and I had like a 10-minute loop of his fire. It was literally his fire. I just told him one night, "Hey, don't say a word, be quiet. Hopefully, no cars go by." And I just videoed his fire. I set it up for like 10 minutes, and then I did that on loop, right? So I would stretch out the fire 10-minute loops as long as the audio was. Smash them together, and boom, you got a fire pit as if you were there. We've never done a live one because it just didn't have the capability. I didn't want to accidentally show anything you didn't want to show. You know what I mean? It just didn't make any sense. Holding a phone, aiming it at the fire, it would be too damn hard. But I have an iPad, a generosity of Eric Tankar gave me an iPad a couple of years ago. And I'm like, you know what? Now with Restream, I could probably use this iPad to get in there and get on and do a fire pit show live because it's a decent camera. The only holdup, because I did a test run yesterday, and the only holdup is going to be Wi-Fi reception. Honestly, that's it. Climbing that mountain is here. What's up? Yeah. So if we got good Wi-Fi, and I think we do, because he has a new Wi-Fi booster out there, he says it should be fine. So we're going to set the iPad up on a tray table, aim it at the fire, basically. The way I can see all your guys' comments, and I could stream it out to like every.
Sweet.
Yeah. It should be fun. As long as the dog doesn't come and knock it over and fuck shit up on us. Roscoe Squirrelbane. He kills everything in that yard that walks.
Get out of here. My dog's a squirrel killer. I was just outside with him 15 minutes ago so I could come in here without him bothering me. But he'll here for a little while.
He likes to run around and guard everything. He'll do a hunt for a couple hours just to make sure, sniffing everything that could possibly be an enemy. By enemy, I mean What has he killed so far? Possum, beaver, rabbit. He just slaughters it. He lets them in the yard.
Hellhound.
Dog. What's that?
Hellhound.
Yeah, hellhounds. Yeah, he'll take it all out. So,
dire boar. Whatever.
He's a little 35-pound dog, but Jesus, man. Thank you, Mac. Appreciate it. So we'll get out there, walk around, and then he just hunts and looks for things, and then he'll just eventually just sit and chill out for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so that's nice. It's nice. Yeah. Right, Shark. You're right, man. I agree. Interesting how much men enjoy gathering around a crackling fire while fresh meat cooks on the grill, enjoying something good to drink, some fine cigars, the cozy fire. Yeah, you're right.
It's a primordial thing, like looking at the beach and looking at the waves at the ocean.
Yeah, I agree.
We've been doing it a long
I agree.
time.
I agree. I was in Colorado years back, and me and a few buddies were up on a mountain. We were 2 hours of Jeep trails away from a human being. There was nothing out there. It was literally the Rocky Mountains. It was unincorporated land. It was just the goddamn Rocky Mountains. And so we're sitting in front of, we had this massive bonfire going. And one guy says there's all guys. It was like 6 men. And we're in our 30s or so. And one guy says, you know what? If there were any women here, this would never be as cool as it is right now. Because when there's a woman involved, a cute woman, a guy's always trying to hit on her, kick it to her.
Yeah.
We were all single at the time, right? And so we were all, we know that a cute young woman, we'd all be trying to show off in some weird way. It would just be a competition, a dick swinging competition.
Sometimes
when you have
the single guys.
What's that?
Sometimes it's not only the single guys. Sometimes the married guys are hitting.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, man. Yeah.
I don't condone that kind of thing, but I'm just saying.
I got a message. I can't tell if Zaddy SCT, he just sent me a message on Facebook. He says, you're doing great. I don't know if you're in the audience and just text me on Facebook. I'm not sure, but thank you, Zaddy. Appreciate it, Yeah, I agree. It's in the DNA, Mac, It's in the DNA, man. It's just something nice about it, nice and chill. So you have a drink, you chill out, you relax, little snacks or something like that. It's a good time.
This is great, though, Joe. You have a great community. Just, I'm not going to pat your back too much here, but you've done a great job with building up these followers, these fans,
Thank you.
Community, right? Because I see a lot of the same names from Monday night here. Austin and Mac and Death Angels and so forth, just on and on and on. You kind of feel like you know these people, even though
It's a nice crossover thing. I was talking to Eric about that the other day. I don't know if you saw the other video I did, a sort of a random video, and Eric was on there, and he was basically saying. We were talking about how to grow in light of the fact that YouTube is like FU to all the, D&D tubers. And we were saying that, the cross marketing thing, the cross branding, the cross streaming is the way to do it. Like Mike has a channel, go to it, click on it, subscribe to it. Mike, do you have a link? You can put it in the private there and I'll share it.
Yeah, I can get you a link. I also have a website. It's just eruditedm.com and it's all of about a month old, but
okay.
I'll be putting some stuff on there and doing the website before too long with some content and so forth. I'll get you a link.
Right. Yeah. Put up the link there. We'll get it going. We at Discord, everybody wants a Discord. It's funny. I set up a Facebook group, Analog Man Cave. We're up to what are we up to now? Let's see. We are up to about 355 people now, I think, in the Analog Man Cave Facebook group. And so everybody, I put that up there, figure that's cool. And then I got the Substack. I'll put out something for it soon. But basically, everybody's asking Discord. I set up a Discord channel and I set up a Patreon. I have one right now that I use just for my private stuff I've been using forever to friends to get in there. And here's a link to join this is what we use, Mike, when we were doing the games. We put the link to the game, whether StreamYards or Restream, in the Discord channel. Yeah. Everybody click on it and go. So that's why I was asking for your Discord ID before.
Yeah, that was always a nightmare on Monday nights for me, frankly. I'll get the Discord thing set up in case we chat again. I hope we do soon. But on Monday nights, it was always like, do I go follow Tim? And he really never did much because he was running the game. Did a great job as DM or GM, but whatever. And then, so sometimes I watch through Flint, and mostly I watch through yours because I seem to have the most followers, and the comments were all different depending on which YouTube channel you were watching. So.
Exactly. That's why I kind of like this Restream thing. It brings all the comments into one place. Whoa, DM Doom, thank you. Thank you for the $5. What's up? I took your advice, started DM Tube YouTube channel. Nice. You're competing with Flint, the other Doom master here. So, DM, what is your channel? Flint Fireforge, you have competition in the Doom department, Flint. Jump in, Paul, if you want. The link is over in the Iron Rations thing. I sent it to you too. But yeah, you got competition if you're in the Doom department there. He set up his own YouTube channel. Tell us what the name of it is, DM Doom. Time to bring the Doom indeed. But like I said, I set up a Discord channel, guys, and everybody's asking for it. I may just open it up to the public. I got the one I use for the games and stuff, like we were saying, but I set up one just for the Analog Man Cave, channel here, the show. So maybe I'll do that this weekend. I'll F around with it tomorrow just to make sure it's all set and ready. Add some groups and channels to it and all that sort of thing, Something to Erudite, Doom, and Flint. Nice. I sent the link to Erudite. It's just youtube.com/@ERUDITEDM. I don't think a caps matters, right? For YouTube or anything like that. No. So Erudite DM. Nice. Thank you. So what do we got here? My fellow young people. Young my ass. Yeah, so DM Doom, let us know. Let us know what your channel is so we can pimp your shit here. You know what I mean? There's only one Doom, but there's room for more Doom.
Hey, Paul, I don't condone it, but Joe is forcing me to drink because it's the celebration tonight. So
it is a celebration.
Huzzah. Have to join in the fun.
Huzzah, the trolls. Oh, we got somebody. We got another maniac here. One of the OG maniacs. Timothy.
Uh-oh.
What's up, man? I know Tim's not drinking unless he's drinking coffee or something like that. Oh, I'm not hearing him. Wait a minute. Is Tim having operating difficulty? Please stand by. I can't believe Tim would be having difficulty with technology. Wait a minute. The hell you say?
I think he's writing up a one-shot for us.
He's probably hearing us, but he can't respond based on that grimace. So we got nothing. I know Ivy was messing with the computer doing some Photoshop stuff. She probably changed some setting, and Tim was like, "What the hell? I can't get back to." Blah, 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 blah. And now he froze. Now he's going again. Now he's picking his nose. Where are we at? You there, Tim?
I think so.
Yeah, we got you. There it is. We got the volume. All right, Tim. Did it allow you to do onto your show as well, onto your channel?
No.
Set it up so that it didn't let you, or you didn't try.
Well, I didn't get a prompt.
Whoa. Wow, that's bad volume, Tim. Real bad sound. Because it let you, right, Mike? You're doing it on your channel.
Yeah, I'm okay here.
Okay.
He was fine at the start, and then he dove.
Yeah. Your sound was better before, Tim. I don't know what mic is coming through. But Mike, you're able to. You said you're on your YouTube channel, right? It's broadcasting to your channel.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see you now. You're popped up. You have 2 viewers right now. Yeah, Erudite DM. Everybody go subscribe to him.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Joe.
Yep. Yeah, Tim, if you leave and come back, you should be able to click to your channel if you want to restream it out there, man.
Can you hear it better now?
Yeah, you sound better now.
Okay. It must have defaulted to the stupid headset microphone instead of my Rode.
Ah, okay.
You probably had your head buried in those Pendragon rules, and you weren't paying attention to what you were doing there.
You know what's funny is I was working on something, but it wasn't Pendragon rules. It was this other game I'm working on, and so I was buried in that. And Ivy said, "Oh, Joe's live." I said, "I thought he wasn't coming on until 9." And he said, "No, I'm watching him right now. His books are messy."
Books are messy.
Yeah,
what do you mean my books are messy?
That's an insult. Books are messy. Yes,
that's a vile insult of the worst sort. What does she mean?
At least you guys have real backgrounds. I like how Eric has the fake background picture.
Yeah.
The fake library. I didn't catch that the first couple of times I was watching it.
I am going to change my headphones because these things are jacked. So these things sound horrible. So I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, Tim, you could, when you rejoin the channel, Tim, you could broadcast to yours. I set it up. Mike it works for him too. So
okay, I'll give it a shot. All right. I'll see you guys in a second then.
All right, cool, man. Cool. I got I said this is an Ask Me Anything, bring your own drinks, and reading letters. You guys, I don't know if I've said it before, but I follow a guy named Robert Meyer Burnett. He's a guy who works in Hollywood. He's been on Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and all those shows. And he's a cool dude. And he talks a lot of Star Trek stuff, which got me, into his show. But he does this show called Robservations. Every once in a while, he'll do like a 2-3 hour show. And he's in California, so it comes on at like fucking midnight our time. But it's a good show. I actually went on it one time just to talk to him about something, a movie he released that I saw. But he does something called reading your letters. People write him long emails, very long emails, detailed emails, and he'll get on there and read them. He calls them letters because in the old-fashioned kind of thing, but he'll read them and comment on them. And for the first time ever, I got one. So, and I it was in the middle of my mother's having surgery and this and that. So I was like, oh, I got to read this and I'll do a show about it and blah, blah, blah. And then it was just out of my head. But it was from Chris Moneymaker. He sent it out. So I thought I'd do that today too, as Tim is, get ready to come back and give some thoughts on it, because it was a good letter. It was a good thoughtful letter. If you don't mind, I'll read it. It's about a page and a half and a Word document, and just talk about it a little bit because it's interesting. He says, again, Chris, you mentioned earlier, if you're watching this on a replay or doing it now, he says, he asked me if I gotten a chance to do it. So I figured, I'm doing that tonight. So then if you guys ever want to do something like that, email me, analogmancave at gmail.com. Just email me, an email or attached letter or something like that, and I'll take a look at it and, read it live. Good, long, thoughtful kind of essays, essentially. You know what I mean? So Tim is back.
I remember you saying that, Joe, talking about how you kind of missed blogging because I guess you used to do it a lot.
Yeah. Me and Tim, right? We all did that back then.
Yeah. I don't know if people have the patience anymore. I mean, some do, but some don't. Some just aren't going to get through 3 paragraphs.
Yeah,
3 pages.
I know. So, Tim, I don't know if did you hear what I was saying about the letter from Chris Moneymaker there?
No, I was switching out headphones, so I was out of contact for a bit.
No worries. So basically, Chris Moneymaker, he was always in the show, in the audience there. He made a comment on one of my videos, and I said that's interesting, and so I think I said something like, tell me more about it, elaborate. And so about a month later, he had the time to write me a long email, basically. He attached like a page and a half Word document. And he says, he sent it to me in the middle of my mother's having surgery and this and that. So I didn't have it out of my head. And he reminded me of it recently. And I'm thinking, it's a good time to read this. I like the thought of people sending me a long email or a letter or some essay or something like that. And, they put a lot of time into it, so I figured it's only, it's only right. I'll read it on there, if as long as it's not Joe, you're an asshole or something like that. I'll read it on there.
It's a really short email.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
It could be a long, thoughtful, you're an asshole like 400 times like we had to do in grade school on the board, right?
Right.
But I thought I might read it because I did say, read your letters. So, and everybody wants to send me an email, like I said, feel free, analogmancave@gmail.com. And if it's, an essay type thing, like a thought piece, we could talk about it, right? So I figured I'd give it a read here. And this is Chris Moneymaker. He says, hi, Joe, or hello, Joe. A while back, you put out a video about sandbox games. I had commented on it saying something to the effect that you might want to clarify what you meant when you used the words sandbox and railroad games. You asked me to elaborate on my comment. Well, it took me a month to find the time to sit down and write this, but here's what I meant. I hope you find this useful. The first thing that needs to be worked out is what customer base you're targeting for your game. From listening to many of your videos, I think your core audience you will appeal to automatically without having to put much thought into helping them along or hooking them is the AD&D crowd, both 1 and 2E. The old basic and OD&D people should be easy to pull in too. That leaves the Wizards of the Coast era people, especially those who are looking for something to play now that 5e is past tense. This letter will be addressing them and their ways of playing the game as I understand it. To sell more product to more people, not just the DM, player agency was made sacrosanct. This gave the players a perceived larger role in the game and gave them a reason to buy all the rule books too. Common mantras of the modern gamer are, DMs should never say no, they should say yes, but, or DM is a collaborative, creative process, and a player should never be subjected to anything in-game that makes them uncomfortable. The player-centered culture is made for a very warped view of what is railroading and what is a sandbox game among the mostly millennial and Gen Z 5e players. They don't understand that a pre-written adventure doesn't have room for every conceivable outcome in its 96 pages. They think that any product with a definite or small number of endpoints is a railroad. It doesn't seem to matter to them how many paths the players could have taken to these points. If there is a certain endpoint, then player agency was trampled on. In my experience, what they seem to want is a paradoxical product that is in fact a campaign setting or campaign expansion and has large areas for the players to go stamping around in, while having that same product tell them how to use it, where to go, who to talk to, and what they say when they get there. Actual module type stuff. If you give them one, they will lament the lack of the other. Having said that, you seem to be developing a game system and maybe a setting. I'm not sure about the last part. Because of this, you should avoid most of the crowd that would cry railroad at any published adventure. I would advise you, if you intend to court the 5e bunch, to make sure you help them understand that a sandbox game isn't one where every 5-foot square in the world isn't already planned out. As you said in your video, most of the broad strokes should be worked out at the beginning, and you get more detailed in your planning as the PCs approach a given area. They don't understand that what they seem to think is the ideal sandbox is just as much as a railroad as what they poo-poo. The rails just cover the whole world. One other cultural difference you will have to consider is this. Even with their love of the sandbox as an ideal, the 5e crowd has embraced the lazy DM concept. There are many D&D influencers who make a good living making how to ... lazy DM content. You will need to give them a primer on DM prep and how it improves the quality of your game immensely. I know you've already covered some of this in your videos, but you may want to have a short chapter, 4 to 6 pages, for new DMs and DMs coming to learn the old school style for the first time. Having it all in one place will make it more useful for new DMs. That's another thing you may want to explain. Your layout. The 5e crowd is used to the very regimented 5e layout and may have trouble using something written and laid out in a style that doesn't conform to what they're used to. Hope you found this useful. I look forward to your upcoming release. Have a great day. Chris Moneymaker, head designer, Dark Horse Rules Games. So thank you, Chris. That's cool. See, back in the day, that would have been a blog post, right? Right, Tim? You know what I mean? That's the perfect blog. That's a Blogger 2009 post right there. You know? Yeah, that's right up there. So and we would have all jumped on it, commented it, and shared it around and talked about it for a while because it's a good post. So I appreciate that. And what are your thoughts? What do you, Mike and Tim? Yeah, as I was reading, I was trying to think, but you guys had a little more time to digest. What do you think, guys? Tim, why don't we start with you? Looks like you might have something there.
Well, I know you're not going to pander to that crew anyway, so that's not going to be an issue. I mean, that, and that, but pretty much, everything he said was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, you doing, like he said, like a primer for is interesting. Instead of just doing like a written one, you almost do a video version of one, like an old school primer video.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Kind of to go to, and you can build off of that, and that could be your little keystone, maybe to your your game and everything. And then I mean, as far as pandering, there's not much. I mean, who's going to come. If they complain about it, then that's sort of on them. I mean, I don't think we're too old to give a shit. It's sort of like, if they don't like it, okay, well, don't waste my time. Just go away and don't play it or something. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, if you like it and you have a reasonable request or something, sure. But one of the funny things he was talking about was, the 96-page modules, and he had me till there. Then that kicked me out because I'm still thinking of the TSR paper modules, that are 12 pages.
Yeah,
they have just as many words in it, just in 12 pages and 4 font.
Tiny font, and you're with nowadays you read a damn magnifying glass.
Yeah,
exactly. What do you think, Mike? What was your thoughts on it?
I think it's all about expectations, really. I mean, for all the stuff we see on YouTube with people talking about this way versus that way, it all comes down to the people you're playing with.
Mm-hmm.
So what their expectations are. I started playing a year and a half ago with some 30-year-old family members, and they knew Baldur's Gate. They didn't know D&D. They didn't know old D&D. They hardly knew 5e. So we started playing, and with the time we had with that kind of group, I didn't railroad them. I'd always try to give them a couple of different paths, but it was not a pure open sandbox. I'm a heavy prep guy. I'm a history guy by education and training. So I'm sitting there thinking of stuff and trying to add fantasy elements to it. And I look for inspirations in literature and poetry and film and books and in history and so forth. So the other part of it, I think, is what kind of DM you have, what kind of GM, because in the old days, I never understood the attraction to the TSR modules. Maybe I was buying the wrong ones or something, but I could never get through them. And I was a forever DM. I was always the one who volunteered and did it. But some people can do that. Some people can sandbox. They can sit there and skit and scat and improv at the table. I'm sure I know Tim's very good at it. I'm guessing, Joe, you are too.
Only with a lot of prep could I improv decently.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Some people make it look easy, but they've been doing it so long to get comfortable with different types of players. They know the parameters of what they're dealing with, and then others don't. Maybe they've only been doing it for a year or two, and they're just not that kind of person, confident in themselves. So they need to stick with what is in a, what we used to call a module, an adventure, right? And they need to know what's coming next and be following that story and so forth. They can't just go off in a sandbox and start telling you something. They may not have that background. They might not have read a lot of fantasy books. The three of us, when we're playing a game, hell, before we even start reading something new, we're like, oh, this is Tolkien-esque, or this reminds me of Conan stuff. Oh, there's some Moorcock here with Elric. You kind of know the flavors just intrinsically because you've been doing it for 30, 40 years plus.
Yeah.
Well, to riff on that, actually, because I saw a comment about the literacy thing. You got to remember, guys, we're 50 years beyond when we started, or something like that. So, like when we started, I mean, we could name pretty much all the fantasy authors that were out there. It was pretty. There wasn't. Today, there's like I knew so many more, because I mean the genre itself has exploded, and then with self-publishing and with everything, all the fantasy worlds and all is just kind of there's no common well, I shouldn't say no. There's very few common experiences like when we had them. Yeah. Like, because when we went and did stuff, we maybe all went through Village of Hommit. We've all experienced, that we all had probably some sort of knowledge of Michael Moorcock's stories or Howard's stories, because we knew them. There wasn't a lot. Like today, there's so many. If I got into fantasy games, in the old days, if there's 5 people sitting there, you could probably relate to 4 of them with something that you read. Today, I think you'd have completely different. Probably people most of the time coming from completely different, like, common experiences and stuff. So they don't share that. It's sort of like Magic the Gathering cards. Like, I had the alpha packs. I had the originals, man. I had the fuckers. I wish I still had those damn things.
You'd have a new house by now, Tim.
Oh God. Yeah. I'd have and it was fun then. But then when they started exploding into all these things, now I can't keep track, well, I stopped keeping track after they made the second expansion pack, in that, but it's just too much. It's just like all over the place.
Tim, you remind me, when I was in 3rd grade, we took a trip, the whole family in the station wagon thing. This must have been, 73, 74 or something. And we drove from Houston all the way up to Colorado, and we did Pikes Peak and all that stuff. I remember stopping somewhere. My mom let me buy a couple of comic books. And I just realized this now, that this was my first exposure to this whole world. I think I got a Spider-Man. I got something else. And there was something called Conan the Barbarian.
Nice.
So
some guy. Yeah.
I never realized. Yeah, it's like, oh crap! I really went a lot further back in this. That was my first, exposure to it.
Yeah. Eric, thank you. You've been called. Felt those presents has been requested already, Eric.
I know.
Where's that other hand? He's not even.
I don't know where his hands are.
There's
Rage in the background. There he is. And thank you.
I didn't know Fungus Raxus was celebrating Passover. I did not know that.
Oh, he's Passover. Okay. And thank you, Flint Fireforge, Paul, for being a member. Appreciate that. Really cool, you man. Yeah. All right, Eric. I don't know if you have a chance to listen to what I was reading there.
I was reading it and multitasking at the same time.
Things,
But there's a weird dynamic between, I guess, gamers that grew up gaming in the 80s and those that are coming in from the new perspective. It's a whole pivot they got to do. And I like to think that folks like us can help them make that pivot if it's comfortable for them. I mean, I don't believe in bad, wrong fun. Unless it's 4E. 4E is bad fun if you like it.
Yeah, that's definitely. I call that a living, walking abortion. 4E. That's pretty much how I describe it. something out of a Raji module, basically. That's 4E. Yeah.
No. Listen, early Raji modules, by the way, are good. The Grindhouse was really good. Actually, talking about Raji stuff, Rach found something. I haven't shown this yet. Joe, you might have one of these. I don't know.
Let's see. Let me embiggen you here. How do I maximize you? All right. What do we got here? What is that? The Pembrokeshire? I never subscribed.
Oh, Pembrokeshire thing. Yeah.
You're number 19, so you got like what, 10% off for life or something with that,
something
right?
Like that. I actually took a photo of it, sent it to James. James was like, "Oh shit, I forgot all about that stuff."
Yeah.
And that really is James's signature, but it's his ex-wife's handwriting for the writing the names in.
Okay.
The curse.
I didn't tell you guys this. I think I told you guys this, but I didn't tell the audience. I think I did mention that Greyhawk Grognard has agreed to be my next victim for my long interviews.
Oh my God.
So that's going to happen. We got to, he agrees. I was kind of surprised because he made a comment in one of my videos. He said, count me in. I said, count you in for what? The long form interview? And he says, I'll do whatever. I was like talking. I'm like, I messaged him on Facebook. I said, do you know what you're in for? You see Greg Christopher's thing? It's just as a, he's like, that's fine. We'll have to work out a time on the weekend. So we got to just bang out the weekend, All right, and then the next person who agreed, because James Raji texted me about something that we'll probably get into during the interview, some controversy shit. And I said, hey, you're going to be my next person to ask. I don't know if you saw this thing. I got, Craig and Grognard there. We're going to do this thing. He said, you want to do it? He goes, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, all right. So he's on. So I have my next two are lined up. My next two victims, Greyhawk Grognard and James Raji, are going to be on my long form interview. So Mike getting a refill. Amen, baby.
Yeah. The ice look lonely.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. All the millions of hours I was spent at a bar. I've never heard that phrase, and I'm going to use that forever now.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the ice look lonely.
Copyright that and change the name of my channel tonight.
Yeah, right. The lonely ice channel.
The ice is lonely. Sounds like some sort of northern frozen adventure.
Yeah. So Tim, I know you were confused before because Ivy was saying Joe's live, and you're like, wait, I thought it was going live later. I am going live later. I'm going to do the Joe and Bro Fire Pit. Thanks to you, Eric, and your iPad you gave me a few years back. I figured out I did a test of it here because I'm thinking, wait, I could restream on the iPad, and I could broadcast to all the channels, and all I got to do it because my old Fire Pit shows are audio, and then I dubbed the audio into a video clip of a repeating fire. But I said I could do this live as long as he has a good reception out there, and he says he does because he got an upgrade on his internet, blah blah blah. So as long as he have good reception, I'm gonna bring a tray table, set up my iPad, aim it at the fire, put it between us and our beers. And as long as Roscoe doesn't knock it over while he kills,
I was going to say Roscoe's going to knock it over.
That's the risk. We got to keep it far enough from the fire, so in case he does, it doesn't just go up in flames. But yeah, Tim, you met Roscoe. He loved you, dude. He actually said goodnight to you before he went in to go to bed.
Right. Yeah. Roscoe and I had a good night. Yep.
Yeah. Roscoe knows dog people. You know what I mean? And he doesn't like cat people, I don't think. But,
so him and Rob would get into it, huh?
Oh, probably. Rob never went over there for the fire pit. I had you there. I had Matt there. If Eric ever gets up in the neighborhood, we'll do a fire pit out there too, man. You and Rach should be a good time. But yeah. So I'll have that going around 9 o'clock. So I head out of here around 8 just to head over, get it set up, see if it all works and everything, As long as we get Wi-Fi, it should go off. And if it doesn't go off, maybe we'll try audio only or some other thing, not video. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. What's up, Michael? How you doing? I do want to get Kelsey on for the interview, man. But here's the thing. She's busy as fuck right now, I think. Yeah. Right?
I'm sure she is.
I don't want to impose on her for that. And I do want to go back because she's been interviewed by the universe at this point. She probably has 1,000 interviews out there. I want to listen to some of the better ones, and so I don't ask generic, basic bullshit questions all over again that she's heard a million times. You know what I mean? So I want to go back and do some research on everything that she's done before. And so before I do it,
Hey, I saw her on X earlier, or at least it was the channel, Arcane Library, and they were saying something about they just did the Kickstarter for their in French, and we're doing that over in France, I think just today or yesterday or something. And they were collaborating, if I read it right, with Mary Mushman, who I think
they're great.
They're terrific.
Wow.
So I wonder if she's got some new thing, and then are you going to translate that back into English so we can see what it is too?
Yeah. Mary Mushman. They do the Knock massive.
Yeah.
zines.
Oh, that's the one who does the knock. Okay.
Yeah. Those are great.
Those are really.
Those
good.
are some of the zines I actually read. No offense. To be honest, Tim, I probably did read these 10 years ago when I got them a little bit to go through them because they were some of the first zines I ever got. I just don't remember a goddamn thing from 10 or 15 years ago. So who the hell knows?
Well, you're
But
the
now-
opposite of Matt. The longer they are, the better chance of you have of reading it. Where
Yes.
Matt's got to be on a matchbooks for
Yes.
him to read. And
Exactly.
everything. So you two are the extremes. And I'm sure when Eric gets his, it's just in a pile of his unopened Kickstarter shit in a corner somewhere.
Yep.
Hey,
Oh my God, they know me too well.
Oh, you got him in trouble, Tim. Oh, he's dead.
How do
Oh shit!
Yeah, wait for that.
I can almost see on his face his asshole just clenched up. No.
it's an ongoing joke with Rach and I. Hey, listen, part of me cleaning up my shit is Rach finding that Pembroke Society. It's like she's like, what the hell is this? I'm like,
Card paying member. Did you get a card too?
You know,
like a little
I,
wallet.
I think there might have been one, and I've had people ask me to start giving out the.
No, you're chopping
think
there.
I think I have a bunch buried in my closet.
All right.
I might have to revise that.
Eric and Tim, were you guys able to broadcast to your channels this time? I know Mike could.
No, but it did give me a message. It said you can't add channels to an already streaming live stream.
What?
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, because I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
So in other words, if you invited us earlier on,
Early
before the
bird,
live,
baby.
and-
Early bird gets the
Right.
worm.
like if actually you did, if I had taken that,
I did.
If I had taken that damn link, and then
Yeah.
go to, oh yeah, and which is what I do on Thursdays when I'm with Don and Tom, and then but if you join in midstream, you can't.
Now at least we know why it wasn't working all that. We couldn't figure it out. You know,
Now,
it didn't make
well,
any sense.
I actually took a screenshot of the screen this time. I got to remember that because that makes sense. Basically, even if we're going to drop in like midstream, as long as we get the link early and set it up before you go live, then it will work. Yeah, and I'm probably bowing out in about half an hour or so because I got a live stream at 8:00. So I mean, we're all doing lives.
We're all doing lives.
What we're doing. I mean, we were kind of doing. This is our new blogs now.
Yeah.
And it's also the new way for old guys to hang out without getting in trouble.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
We'll do that here. I wouldn't say that. So we can
I got married.
Eric already got in trouble once, but yeah. Other than that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll survive.
Yeah. That's what back in the day, all the in our late after college, starting careers, late, mid to late 20s, all the guys who we played D&D with, their girlfriends at one point or another all demanded to show up at a game because I don't think they believed that 5 guys on a Saturday night weren't going to a club or a strip club or going out. You know what I mean? They couldn't believe that we're that nerdy. I don't think they didn't want to believe that they dated such nerds, really is what it came down to. So they all made an appearance and rolled up a character, and we were all like, all right, we got to be on our best behavior. No guy gross jokes, blah, blah, blah. Don't blow my shit, Then those women, they all became fiancés and later wives, and a couple divorced. But it wasn't because of D&D. But they all had to see. They all had to see what it was all about, And so they left after one session, shaking their heads in perplexity, but probably thinking, well, at least you're not out there at a strip club,
Rach games at conventions with me.
He does.
She gets into games without me. So it's like, all right, she's having fun.
Good. Yeah. It's funny because now when I'm trying to build up the Twitter audience, the X audience, I'm getting requests from, follows from, I look at the picture and it's like Bethany and she's a smoke show. And I'm like,
yeah,
spam. Bullshit. Ain't no ridiculously hot chicks playing D&D. You know, joining my old man channel.
Like, yeah, no.
You know, there's no 23-year-old supermodels who want to follow me for any reason related to D&D. Put it that way.
Yeah,
you know? That doesn't happen, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. But hey, back to that letter though. I think the I didn't even weigh in. I just realized it.
Right.
But I think you make a lot of good points there, Chris, and OnlyFans. Yeah, I got a foot fetish OnlyFans thing going. But I think you make a good point there. In terms of the audience, I don't know that they are lashing out against the railroads, because I don't think that they realize that what they are in is a railroad. Most 5e adventures are fucking railroads from the beginning to the very end, and they don't know that they're in a railroad, right? I think the biggest problem is that they don't know what a sandbox is. To try to get a person who's used to these 5e railroads into a sandbox, I ran games for 5e players. I started up different games at 2 different libraries and a game store back in. I started playing 5e. God, it must be 7 years ago, right? And I had like 3 or 4 games going at one time. And the 5e players who I played at my local library, they were in the young 20s. 5e was their first game. And if I dropped anything that looked like it might resemble a plot hook or a breadcrumb trail to follow, they followed it without fail, because they thought they had to, because they didn't know any better. And I remember it clearly, it was an elf who came to talk to them, who was from wherever the hell, and said something. And the elf, I said, heads out. And this woman playing a character said, okay, follow the elf. I'm like, okay. The elf turns around. Why are you following me? And her, she tried to come up with some role play bullshit, but in the back of her head, because that's what you do. She didn't get the whole understanding of plot hook. And eventually the elf said to her, stop following me, bitch, in a very, very polite way. Then she didn't. Then he shot an arrow at her, took her hat off or something. And she got the hint finally. I told her afterwards, I tried to explain what a sandbox is, and not everything you encounter means you need to follow it. You have free will. You can choose your own way, choose your own. It was like, mind-blowing kind of thing for her. It didn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, that's the hard part, I think, is convincing people that what they are playing is not a railroad, Chris. Right. So that's really a hard thing.
Hey, Joe, in the chat, GGGFX asks an interesting question. What would you define as a railroad? Is it a story with a reasonable number of forks, still a railroad? So if you're doing like a point crawl where you did all your prep, and I'm a heavy prep guy, probably everybody here is, is that still a railroad if you give them 2 or 3 clear, well-prepared decisions they can make to go one way or the other, but you still have a map here, you still have a map for the other way, you still have some NPCs that could work either direction? That really a railroad still, or what's your thought?
I think in my definition, the biggest definition of a railroad is that the outcome is predetermined from the very first play session. You know what's going to happen, and it's just a matter of how the PCs go from roll your first combat to your final combat. If you know your first and you know your final, then that's a railroad, and no matter where they go, they're going to get to this final combat that you have in your head, because that's how you want it to end.
Free will, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, of the people on screen, I probably, even for convention games, this is honest, I do less prep than most people. Because I'll start it off fairly prepped, and then the moment the party zigs when I think they're going to zag, I embrace it and go, oh, the halfling is trying to think if they try to identify smells because they're a halfling. Well, it's not in the book, but all right. You know what? I got to put a kitchen in here now. Oh, and we're dealing with a necromancer, so it's got to be undead in the kitchen cooking. Oh yeah, this is going to be great, and you go with it. That makes me enjoy. So there's no railroad in mind, because I don't even generally know how the party's going to get to the end. And the convention game, a lot of times the end moves anyway, just because of time constraints. You're like, crap.
Yeah. I don't understand the need to even a one shot to have to tie it up with a bow after 4 hours or something.
No.
Leave it hanging. So, this is how far we got. And if that's all we're doing and we never come back to it, fine. We had fun. Now, if depending on who the group you're playing with, you can't do this at a con. But if it's your regular group on a one shot, and everybody decides, hey, write a little bit more. We're going to go this way next time, and let's see what happens.
That's what we did with
That's
Joe.
emerging. It's an emerging game. You know what I mean? That's an emerging game to me. I think that at con, you kind of the players who sign up for a 3 or 4 hour game deserve the final boss fight. I gotta, you know what I mean? You got to give them that. And so that's my one caveat is like a campaign, you don't do a railroad. A con, you may, you have a 20 room dungeon and they're going through it, and the last room was over here, but they that in the next half hour, we're not going to get through those 6 rooms to get to that final fight. You move the final fight to the room they're going into next. You know what I mean? Yeah, you just bring it up and you give them that satisfaction of killing the big bad guy. You got to give them that because they signed up, they paid money, they spent 4 hours of their time. So you got to give them that story when they get back. Oh, he killed the fucking demon. It was awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Not 20, all that stuff's got to happen, So that in that case, a railroad's okay.
Yeah, but it shouldn't feel like a railroad, even if you're going to do it. It should never feel like one. I back when I was a reviewer on Drive-Thru, one of the first reviews I did, I forget the name of this damn scenario, but it had glowing magic balls that would zap you if you got too far from the plot line. If you wandered off, these things would zap the party members for D4 damage to put them back on the path, literally railroading them. And that's when I learned that Drive-Thru doesn't like it when you get things bad reviews. If you're if you're part of their featured review team.
Oh, Eric's giving some static there.
Yeah.
Whoa, Eric, you just froze up and spit out 10 words at once. That was weird. Right. What were you saying, Tim?
I'm doing a Rob.
I was at one of these conventions, and the guy was running like a 2-part adventure in his convention. Well, I was in the first part, and one of my guy, it was close to the end, and my guy was going to try to destroy these big. One of them was like a big. I'm remembering like a stone skull thing that glowed or something like that. So instead of attacking the main guy, I was going to attack the stone skull things. I rolled a 20 to hit that. I mean, I rolled a 20. So I'm just like, the guy just kind of stood there and he goes, well, nothing really happens. And I'm like, dude, do you know how hard it is for me to roll a 20?
Never. You know me.
I said, most people it's a 1 in 20 chance. Mine is about a 1 in 100 chance to roll a 20. And I said it's the only one because I had rolled like I don't know how many ones during the game. And he's like he said he couldn't do it because he needed it for the next game. I couldn't. So the second part. So I'm just like, I was like, oh man, that fucking sucks. So it made my enjoyment for the game diminish quite a bit for that. He could have started the game with the head guy with maybe a little weakened state. Maybe he was, kind of did a Death Star on it, just trying to put it back together.
Hittable or Humpty Dumpty. Something.
Yeah, but he's just like that was the only cool thing I did all the game, and he took it away from me.
Nailed you.
Most of the time, I was doing a Paul. I was throwing my weapon. I was falling downstairs. I couldn't even. And that was the other thing. Like just walking down the stairs became a issue because you had to roll a dex check to roll down or not roll down. I rolled down the stairs fine. It was stepping down the stairs. I had trouble falling down stairs, and I don't know what the hell was on them steps. And then another one, one of the worst offenders I've ever seen for railroading was Frog Gods Games. It started with the chicken.
Oh God!
Oh, it is bad.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised those guys put out a railroad. They know what the hell a railroad is. I mean, Jesus.
Oh well, trust me, they put out some stinkers. Trust me.
Really?
I like reading because I read a lot of modules. So it wasn't even me. It was Ken who was running it, and it starts off with you know you're in trouble as soon as you start off an adventure where you're knocked out and you wake up and you got nothing kind of deal.
Oh God,
so
that's the Slave Lords Adventures. I hated that fucking thing.
yeah, but
You know?
but at least that had a reason kind of throughout, you know, the thread and everything
Yeah.
like that. But so they said we got ambushed. So of course, what a group of players want to do. They don't want to lay in the dirt and then go into the village. No, they want to track these efforts down and see if they can track them down and get their shit back. Well, we couldn't do that. They were too far. They were doing this. They were doing that. And I'm like, so we can't. I said, but we can see their tracks because it's on a road and they took our horses. So we can see it should be fairly easy. Yeah, but they're way too far. They're this and that. And I'm like, well, we wouldn't know that they were too far. One, you know, and two, you know. So then we get back into town, and it basically, if you didn't do things, step one, step two, if you did not follow the recipe, you did not get the cake.
Jesus, I hate that shit. Hey, Death Angels, real quick, put your ex Twitter name in there. I don't know why. I think I've accepted every friend request on Twitter that there was because I'm trying to grow the channel. So if you put your name.
He's the smokehouse chick, you know. That's
is that him? If you have a hot chick in your profile, I've declined you, dude. You know, if that's the case. So,
right.
But yeah, type in your name here, man. And thank you for the $2 super chat. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it just to get my attention here, but it does get my attention. There's a lot of comments going here, man.
They're flying by right now.
I know, and I think Mac made a really good point. We're latchkey kids. We want our freedom in our games. A lot of these youngsters have over-parenting, helicopter parenting. I agree. Needing a railroad game style with safety words. Yeah, I agree. There's a whole different mentality. That's why when Stranger Things came out, I remember watching interviews with younger people who were watching this, and they couldn't understand the fact that the kids would leave in the morning and come back when the streetlights came on. It just didn't compute to them that they would just be out there in the wilds all fucking day and with no cell phone, no way to contact mom and dad, no parental supervision. I mean, that's how we all kind of all grew up. Just take your bike. You know you were going somewhere in the neighborhood. You had your limits. Don't go beyond the telephone pole here. Don't go beyond that street over there. Don't go definitely in that neighborhood over there. You know, and that's kind of what we did. I mean, me and Eric are more city. I don't know where you're from, Mike. I know, Tim, you were rural and you didn't pay attention to any of those fucking rules. They got shot in the back with a shotgun, if I remember correctly, by some guy.
Shot in the ass with a shotgun.
Shot in the ass, yes. Please tell that story.
So any kids out there listening,
it does not get old. A man getting shot in the ass with a shotgun.
If you see an abandoned trailer in the middle of the woods, don't go near it.
Don't go near it. Is that the moral of the story?
Yeah, like one of those little. It was like one of those little campers, you know, little. And then the guy came out with a fucking shotgun. Yeah.
What is it about rural PA? I mean, I spent 20 years as a New York City police officer, never shot at, by the grace of God. As a kid spending the Poconos, I got shot at once. I'm not saying we didn't deserve it. I'm just saying. We got shot at once because the ladder made noise when it was bouncing against the second floor, trying to get to a window. And yes, somebody came out with a shotgun and put a couple of rounds in our direction, and we all ran.
No, that's a good answer though. You run. Somebody shoots you, you run.
Right, yeah. Well, I guess PA shooters are a little less discriminating about their targets. You know, there's just
it might be.
They could bury every
year. I mean, every year up here during deer season, and there is a deer season in rural PA for, you know, city folks.
Saw the deer hunter.
Yeah. Well, we call this thing called Amish jerky because the Amish don't like to wear the orange vest. So there's at least one Amish guy who gets shot. So we always
doesn't mean you have to eat him, Tim.
It doesn't, but we're pretty good about not wasting food.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
there you go.
You're being green.
No, but it seems like every year there's one guy gets shot, and it's usually an Amish guy, and that. So we always ask him how the Amish jerky was. So that's rural PA humor, I guess. Probably rural Ohio humor also. Yeah.
Out there, they could bury the bodies, Tim. There's not enough land where I live to free open land to. You would see somebody burying a body out here.
True.
That's the thing. Not a lot of shotgunners. Let's see. Where's it go down there? Death Angels. JEFF4N or N4POD. I did a search for you. I can't find you, man. This is X and Twitter, right? We're talking about, right? I think that's what you said. I just don't see you.
Try his other account, which is Hot Filipino Chick 69.
Ah, all right. Okay.
He'll come up there.
That'll do it.
You're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't. I
Almost too
literally did a
expensive to waste
search,
on morning shots. Yeah.
Jeff, and I don't see your name in there, man. I don't see. I did a search and it just is no results. So, not
Maybe
sure what's
you can
going on there.
Maybe you can send your link to his profile in your email, Joe.
Yeah. Analogmancave@gmail.com. Send me that link and I'll click on it and we'll get that going, man. You know, that's a good idea.
Oh, honey, North Dakota Badlands is not, I lived there for a while. Mac lived on the Indian reservation out there for a summer.
Wow.
He lived everywhere, Tim. Tim
Yeah,
wandered for a period of time. He was a traveler. He was a
Trapper.
gypsy kind of existence. I heard some of the
It is.
stories.
I graduated high school and I knew if I didn't go out traveling, I wouldn't do it. So I was out for 2.5 years just traveling around the United States.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. I wish I did something like that. You know, I never could afford to do that overseas thing in college and visit.
No, I
first
couldn't
semester.
afford it. No, not that.
It wasn't happening for me, you know. So I wasn't brought up in a very expansive environment of, you know, New Haven was 20 minutes from me growing up. It may as well have been Timbuktu, you know. But it had art, museums, all the stuff you could have done, Yale related shit, you know. But yeah, nothing. Forget about it. So we never had anything like that going on. Yeah, Aurora, Montana. We took our guns to school. Yeah, that's the thing out there.
Hey, that's the thing. 'Cause, I mean, there's a whole lot more of America that totes around guns that don't. Just all the coasts that don't tote them are the ones who get all the media attention. But everything in between, you know, they're slinging some sort of ammo.
Yeah. I remember I had a client out there, and he was telling me that how his parents, he would always bring his guns to school because he'd go hunting afterwards, and everybody did. And they had a whole bunch of pickup trucks with gun racks and the guns in there.
Exactly. Yeah, they always had
nobody
2
stole
or
them.
3. Nope.
Yeah, nobody took them. Eventually, this guy, he said he was such a good hunter. He later became like a sniper for the Rangers. But he says he was such a good hunter that he would bring home so much game. His parents were like, "That's enough. We can't cook this much," you know. So they would give him one bullet a day.
We're sick of venison chili.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we can't cook everything you're killing. You're slaughtering all of Colorado, right? So they gave him one bullet a day. They said you're allowed 1 bullet. You kill it or you don't, and you're getting 1 bullet a day. So he'd go out and he'd always kill something, you know.
Barney 5 of them, huh? This is all you can get.
Barney has 1 bullet in his pocket.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. You guys have any questions? This is an Ask Me Anything forum as well as a bring your own drink. I know Mike is partaking. Eric, you got anything going there?
No. I live stream at 8. I got to be sober-ish.
What kind of oxymoron is that? I got a live stream. I gotta be sober.
Isn't it? Well, this isn't Gamer's Health. This is Glenn.
It's me. It's Glenn. It's Mark Hunt. It's Don Zamora. We're gonna be talking BX Gangbusters BX Second Edition, which is gonna be coming out next week.
Okay.
So I gotta actually be responsible. I mean, I know it's rough. I don't like to be.
Looks like he's struggling to stay there. He goes, I really want
my allergies are tickling the fuck out of my nose. It's like what I want to do is sneeze in the middle of this live stream, and you don't need that.
It'd be kind of epic, actually.
No.
Easy question. What is for the group? What is your favorite homebrew magic item that you have had as a player or given out as a DM? All right, there you go. And who wants to start? Your favorite homebrew magic item you've had as a player or given out as a DM? It's interesting. Good question. I never thought about this.
I actually had 2 that I enjoyed. I'm not sure if you experienced it or not. You had the cat's eye, which was a marble that you could roll down a hallway or whatever, and it would actually allow you to see from perspective of the marble on the floor as it's rolling. And the beer bear, which produced a gallon of beer a day, as you pop the head off the stuffed animal, the stuffed bear, you poured out beer. I like that. But I'm a bartender of the OSR, of course. I like that. Come on.
There.
All right. Well, you guys, Tim, Mike.
What about you, Mike? What you got?
I was going to say, I don't know. I don't have anything cool like that. I never did like the refilling drink thing or anything. I like that idea in real life. But yeah, I always did the Tolkien stuff. Some kind of, to me, if it was a really meaningful relic or magic item, it had to be elvish, right? It's the whole Tolkien thing. So it was either armor or a blade. Mm-hmm. And then the movies changed that, and they started becoming these curved blade things like they had in the movie, and that was pretty cool.
Right.
And then Merkborg, probably, I haven't played it yet, but I certainly love reading through that stuff for some weird, quirky ideas. Kind of made me rethink magic items. And I don't remember ever playing cursed magic items either.
I hate those fucking things.
In my first round in my younger life playing D&D, but now you see them quite often. And the Shadow Dark, I think Shadow Dark has rules, doesn't it, for like doing curses and negative effects and things on.
Oh, it's got a table just for that.
Yeah. In the core rules, yeah.
Tim smile right up his fucking alley. He loves that shit.
Well, I like magic items that have a cost. Sure, they have a benefit. But
I mean they're cursed. They just have it's like magic. You have to pay something. These magic users don't live 500 years abnormally without giving up something of their soul or whatever it is, right? It's the same with the magic items, I think.
Because like with Joe, like going through several of my campaigns, and even you, Eric, to some extent, if you get a magic items, a lot of the party's not going, yay, they're just going to go, who's going to touch it first?
Yeah.
Who's gonna, is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad? And that, just like your ring that you had in my last one. But you kind of knew what you're getting into.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to fuck with this. Yeah, there's no way I was going to do some evil demon ring and not put that shit on.
Right.
That's just, I mean, because I was like, all right, you know what? 90-10 chance that I'm going to die in Tim's game anyway, and so I might as well go out with a bang with a demon ring on. I mean, this is a no-brainer, Right. I think my favorite one I've ever had was that I made up, and I submitted this in 2014 to you, Eric, to the OSR Superstar contest, and you never fucking finished that. You're 11 years behind on that, by the way. So you never. Whenever Eric calls out late Kickstarters, the OSR Superstar contest is 11 years late. So just, for a reminder.
I owned up to that and said, this ain't going anywhere. But
But I came up with something called the Liber Rubigo Mortem, the Book of Rust, basically. Right? And so I think you had said that Tim liked this. I don't remember. But it's a fear tome, exudes a brown mist that constantly swirls above it, 20 inches tall, 30 inches across, and a half-inch thick. It has 2 quarter-inch sheets of rusted iron, back and front, bound by 3 rusted iron rings. Within lies a single page. Anybody who touches the book with their bare hands ends up with rust-stained hands forever. The rust is foul-smelling and is always going to be on your hands. It'll always stain everything you touch. But opening the book requires you to touch it with your bare hands, because inside of there are 3 very important things you could do. A rust grip, which if you touch something metal, it turns it to rust, like a sword or something like that, or armor. There's a rust blast, which has basically savors a breath weapon or choke from the rust, or lose some con. And then you can make something that I created called a rust golem using that book. So that would be. I think that was kind of cool because it fits. I think that's probably why you liked it, Tim, if that's the case, because it fits the "you're fucked" category of you can use it, but you're fucked.
Fuck you, monsters. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Really cool. Make a rust golem, but everything you touch forever is going to be like rust hands on everything. So I kind of like that. I was quite proud of that. I think.
My favorite one was a very simple one that I made, and it was called an Ember Blade. So basically, it was like it was a Thieves Guild weapon that was only given out to certain Thieves members. So what it was just a simple dagger. Mm-hmm. And then if you were searching around like in the dark or something, you could pull out this blade. And if you blew on it, it would start to glow. So if you needed light for just a small short, because you didn't want to advertise where you were, or if you were reading something in the dark, you could just blow on this blade and it would glow, and it would reveal, for a little bit, and then it would fade away again until you blew on it and stuff.
That's
But
Joe,
my favorite presentation. What's
What was
that?
Tim?
Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say my favorite presentation of a magic item, though, that I ever did is, there was in my one of my manors where this guy was at the bottom of this ice. It was an icy cold lake, and he was at the bottom of it, and he had weights on him, and he was wearing wearing leather armor of regeneration. So every 10 minutes, yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. So every time the guy would regenerate every 10 minutes, and then he would die again. And then he would regenerate, and then he would die again. So players were fine. I can't remember who found him, but eventually they were just like horrified. And I calculated how many times the guy has died through the years that he was stuck, because he tried, because he was went to this inn where he tried to cheat, gambling, and so they took him out to what they called 10 Killer Lake, weighted him down, threw him in the lake, and he died. But they didn't know he was wearing a vest of regeneration, so the guy just kept on dying and dying and dying and dying. And I just thought that was,
by any chance, is he?
Should have named him that. Yeah, I just thought it was just a cool idea. Just if somebody would have seen, like the players going down there to grab this, armor off this guy or detect the magic, and then the guy wakes up again and
it freaked us out. It fucking freaked us all out. I remember. I don't know what the result of that was. I probably said, no, we're not touching it, knowing me and your game, But
right. Yeah, that was my favorite presentation, though. Yeah, I've won.
What were you gonna say, though, Mike?
I was going to say, Mike B in the chat said, "Oh man, that Rust book sounds pretty cool."
We
have that together in a 1-page PDF or a 2-pager, Joe, and put that somewhere and let people download it.
I updated a version of it recently. I got to dig it out. I was reading my OG 2014 submission. Not done yet, Eric. But I'll look at the redo of it. Maybe I'll put it up on, because I did create a drive-through page for a publisher called Analog Man Cave, and I don't think it even publishes my name or my page until I put something out. So maybe I'll put it out for like 10 cents, because it's only a fucking 2-page PDF. You know what I mean? So
pay what you want. Pay what you want.
Pay what you want? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have to do? I remember reading something about that where they won't put anything, like they won't mention your page until you put out a product that you have to charge for. Does pay what you want count as charging, or you have to have a fixed price?
I don't know. Offhand.
I don't know that answer, Joe. They didn't even have pay what you want when I started it, so I already had stuff out there. So somebody said there was a Lake 10 Killer in Oklahoma. I did not know that. Actually, I got the 10 Killer Lake name from a Tom Waits song, so he may have gotten it from there. So I always thought that was a cool name.
Tom Waits, the voice that Heath Ledger copied for the Joker in that movie, wasn't that the same voice? I thought. Yeah,
I think that's. From what I remember, I think that's what it was, but my memory's not that great. But I thought I heard something about that. But if you're gonna imitate somebody, you got to smoke a lot of cigarettes to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a voice that is earned.
Yeah, that is a hell of a movie. It's like who is it? Stevie Nicks has that raspy kind of voice now from all the smoking and all that,
Right.
Yeah, there's something about that. Not too many women are smokers anymore, except women our age. The younger women aren't smoking, right? They're vaping or something like that. But yeah. And then, smoking always gives you the wrinkles in that freaking leather face eventually when you all that, all the smoke hitting you and whatnot. But at the same time, there is something sexy about that smoker voice. It's like Stifler's mom from that movie, The American Pie, right? Or Dustin Hoffman back in the day from The Graduate, that woman, right?
I'll go old school. How about June Cleaver? She had a smoker's voice. Lord,
did she?
Cleaver. Yeah.
Damn, we're going old school. There, Mike, aren't you?
Yeah, that sexy suburban Mayfield smoker's voice.
Interesting. By the way, we were talking about this before the show. I think it's the first time Mike and I were live together in the same show.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because
I'm more comfortable in the comments section, sniping and making shitty, snarky comments.
and then when I left the Monday crew, you joined in and you're playing in a game and all that. So yeah, it worked out, man. It worked out. It was our first time live though. It's kind of
Lauren McCall.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Yeah. And I'm breaking the seal for the first time this show, guys. So I'll be right back. Entertain the audience, folks. I'll be right back.
Well, her husband Bogey had a smoker's voice too for a while.
Who's that?
I said her husband Bogey. Daniel said Lauren Bacall had a smoker's. I said so did her husband Bogey, but that didn't end that too well for him.
No, not too well. Yeah, it's a crazy chicken world. That's right. Absolutely. It's been a long time since I seen that Mystery Men show. That was I think I saw it when it first came out or something like that. That was the last time I saw it. So what are you guys talking about on your show again, Eric?
No, we got Mark Hunt and Don Samora because
that's right, second edition.
BX are coming out. It's releasing at WizardCon next week, and Don's the publisher. Mark is very excited. I've enjoyed Gangbuster BX. Wasn't sure I would. I never liked the original Gangbusters all that much.
No, I didn't either. I mean, I played it a couple times, but and I don't know if it was just because it was the game or just we were, didn't have enough monsters in it. We were just so D&D mode back then that, could have been more of that type of thing because it was hard to kind of get us out of that mode.
But putting with the BX rules, having it fit into that OSR mentality works out.
Yeah,
pretty well.
No, that sounds fun.
Esteban posted a question. I'm sorry I missed it. About favorite campaign settings. There is the question. There's been a shit ton. Oh, question for the group. There it is. Do you have any favorite campaign setting like going back to? I'll tell you, I started with Greyhawk. It's too bare bones for me. But Forgotten Realms, the current versions, there's too much there for me. So my go-to has been Forgotten Realms, but the gray box first edition AD&D version, plus a couple of the first early supplements, Savage Frontier, Waterdeep in the North, maybe the Tether ones, and I'm good to go. And that all those things were put out before the Avatar War books came out and fucked the entire thing. It was before, I think it might have been before Drizzt. And so it was just a basic setting with a few books to give you enough to fuck with, but not too much that everything has been so developed that you can't do a goddamn thing with it, right? So that's what I go to. I don't know, what do you guys like?
The one that I'm a fan of Greyhawk, but I would love to see them put the original gun material print on demand. I would fill up my holes in that because I had a lot of fun. Dark Sun. I had a lot of
Dark Sun. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of fun with Dark Sun.
They always play Shadow Sun now,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and Dark Sun was interesting because your character started at 3rd level. So because it was a harsh world. But you also had a stable of characters. So you could swap out, like, all right, this week I want to play, the Defiler. All right, well, hey, next session I want to be my Gladiator. You could do that, and even your characters off screen had a chance to level. I think they handled that. Mm-hmm. I should hack that into one of my games. But yes.
All right. What do you guys, Tim, Mike? What do you think?
I was a Greyhawk guy because I stopped playing by the late 80s and then took a long hiatus and didn't get back into all this till 2023. So I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Was busy doing other things. But Greyhawk, when it first came out, Cormier and all that was pretty cool. I thought. Started playing that with my group.
Cannibal halflings, that's a thing in Dark Sun. Cannibal halflings.
Yes.
Yep. That is a thing. That is
kind of cool, actually.
Slavery is a thing. It is a thing. If you want to see a world that is destroyed by I don't know, it's defiling magic, but you could say progress. Dark Sun is it. It did a great job doing it. I liked it. I mean, in a bad way, but I liked it.
in a bad
I
way.
think. About you, Tim? What do
I
you
know-
like? I know you do homebrew a lot. I know.
Yeah, I mean, but I do. I mean, I guess if I was going to run something, I mean, I always go back to Thieves World. I mean, because I
Oh
just love
yeah,
Thieves World.
Yeah.
great box set.
Yeah, I got the box set, but I don't know. I just anytime I would try to, I could take pieces of stuff, but I'd always want to integrate it into my.
Me too. I always like my own stuff better.
Oh, Tim froze
Oh,
there. Oh,
yeah.
you froze up there, Tim. You there? You back? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It said I lost connection.
Okay.
You-
Okay.
But
You
yeah,
know,
I
I'm
probably my
gonna
own
I'm gonna
stuff.
blow out because I got
All right, man.
I gotta get ready in about 20 minutes. So, gentlemen,
Thanks for jumping in, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Joe,
From the party.
if I can pop in while you're streaming live from the fire, I will.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'll do? Now that we know this little weird fucking restream trick, I'll put the link in Iron Rations, guys. So if you want to pop in, you can pop in anytime. But if you want to pop in before we go live and get your stream on your channel too, you click on it ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you'll
All
be
right,
good to go.
Got you.
Yep. See you, Eric.
Later, man.
Come on, Eric.
Yeah, Cormer's Forgotten Realms. You're right.
Yeah, Forgotten Realms. Like when I was doing it wasn't second edition. It was first edition
First
stuff.
edition.
Second edition hadn't even come out yet. So
Yep.
the stuff that I had was all from there because by the time second edition had hit, I was already playing GURPS. And
Oh yeah, you guys really got
and
into
I had
time for years, right?
it went for about 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in third, like first, second, third edition, and then when fourth edition hit, I was like, I'm out. And then that's when I got introduced into the OSR and started rolling my D20 again, which was I've been wanting to do kind of deal. So,
Chris, if you have a YouTube channel, type the name of youtube.com/something. Or you just do the @ thing, and that way people can click on your channel too. I don't know if I even follow you, Chris. I don't know if I knew you had a channel, so put that in there. If anybody else has a YouTube channel, put your name in there, man. That'd be cool. Share it around because honestly, I think that's the only way we're going to grow our channels at this point with YouTube.
Just helping each other out.
Yeah, because YouTube. I mean, Guy is right. Guy Schlanger said that. YouTube told him they're not pimping any YouTube D&D channels. So, and I was getting 1 or 2 subs a day for not putting any videos out. Now I put a shit ton of videos out. I still get 1 or 2 subs a day. That's how much harder it is to get anything. So 3,500.
Gotcha.
The first 1,000 were easy. The last 1,000 were hard as hell. So
hell, I'm grinded, Joe. I'm getting like
I know
here too.
I know.
So
making it
the first 1,000 are not that easy for some of us.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't do the Joe stuff.
Yeah.
I've got my first 2 live streamers, so I'm at 2, Tim.
Nice.
I am.
Nice.
2 more than I've ever had. So
getting there. Yeah. So put your YouTube thing at whatever / something there. You know what I mean? And that way people can get in there, Down with YouTube, get on Rumble. Raptor 7, I don't think he's ever missed. He's the only guy. He is always on everything on Rumble, and he's never missed a show. This guy, I'm beginning to suspect he's a bot because nobody can be this goddamn reliable. Every single show. Nobody. You're a Russian bot, aren't you, Raptor 7? I know it.
Must be.
I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah. So it's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing with Rumble because I link all these 5 channels I broadcast to. Rumble has a cap on how many characters or words I can put in the description. But if but that's only through Restream. If I try to do it through Rumble, I can put as many as I want. It's just a dumb thing.
Really?
So I just have to cut out my links to all my other channels on Rumble when I do that. It's a weird deal. But yeah.
Mac just he asked a question a little bit about an adventure called The Count, the Castle, and the Curse, and I hadn't even heard of that one yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's a Shadow Dark one. That's right. Well, you haven't heard. It's a pay what you want. It looks like gold, and it's a gold bestseller on top of it.
Wow. All right. It's not by Greg.
hard
It's a gold Shadow Dark thing, not by Greg.
Yeah, and then when you're doing a pay what you want, it's very hard to do a gold bestseller because usually people just
gotta be good.
Go out get it for free, and then they.
I'm gonna write that down because I do it in my newsletter that I'm gonna the Substack thing. I'm gonna try to do one a month, and I'm gonna do like I said, the Appendix N book reviews. So my first book I read was the Three Swords, Three Lions, or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
So I did that. I read the book. I did my underlining and outlines, and now I'm sitting on it. Now I'm going to go back and read it, and maybe early May I'm going to put that out. But I also want to put links to things that I like, products, right? So I'm going to put some of the things I bought from Greg, links to that stuff in there through drive-through, and I'll add this to it too. So I'll take a look. Count, Castle, and Curse.
Yeah, Joe, I had just read that last year. What was the Paul Anderson, Three Hearts and Three Lions thing?
Yeah.
At first, I thought, this is a little folk fairy tale-ish Arthurian at first. But when I got into it, I was like, oh man, this is straight up D&D stuff.
I think Paul Anderson is one of those underrated authors. I absolutely love his
stuff. Yeah, so much science fiction, but there's a little bit of
he's got a nice selection of fantasy though too. I mean he does do a lot of sci-fi, but he had some really good trilogies for fantasy also, and I just really love this stuff.
That's
I've
good.
never read Roger Zelazny, the Amber Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
I never read that stuff. Believe it or not, never read the Amber book.
I think it was
probably. I read but it's like a reality show before the reality shows, a family reality show.
Okay,
so you basically got these kind of, I don't know, what would you say? Almost like immortal beings that they were just fighting for power amongst themselves, except that Benedict, who was the most powerful of them, didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit what he wanted. He just wanted to learn more. He was the war expert. Everybody else was like French royalty. They were all like they wanted stuff, but they wanted other people to get it for them because they didn't want to get their hands dirty. And so there was always this interaction and of deceiving one another. And then I think something happened where they actually had to start working together to take care of it. It's been a long time since I read it, but they didn't work well together either.
Right.
So yeah, Zelazny has some really great series out too.
We keep going back to the old stuff, right, Tim? You're saying the new stuff we don't relate to, we don't know what it is, but the old stuff that still stands out that we go back to over and over again.
Well, I think there's just such a, I mean, I hate to use the word, but there's such a glut of fantasy fiction anymore. Because back then, I mean, if we were getting a Paul Anderson or even a Heinlein or it's name one of the guys, you can do what kind of quality you were going to get. You were not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And then once in a while you would reach out maybe to one that you weren't sure of, but usually we were shopping from like a mall bookstore. So they would only carry, the top ones. I mean, unless we went to, I was lucky enough that there was, even where I lived in rural PA, we had this one drunk Irish book owner who you didn't know when he was going to open. He was open when he was sober sometimes. Nice. And you never knew when he was going to be open. If you saw a shop open, you had to go. And it was one of those shops where stuff it was kind of organized, but mainly everything was just in books underneath there. So you had to go dig through everything.
I love
just
that.
a beautiful.
It
is. It was
on the Irish, are we? I see how it is.
Well, I'm Irish, so and then he would when you cash out, depending how drunk he was, is how thick his accent got too.
Yeah.
So
started crying about his mother. Yeah.
Oh, he would talk about being, because he was, off the boat from Ireland. He was first generation Irish, and it was so fun to listen to him talk about. Just half the time I couldn't understand what the hell, even though I knew he was talking English. It was Irish, drunk Irish English.
Yeah.
So
what county?
I don't.
Do you remember what county?
I don't remember. No.
You remember his last name?
It was fun. Yeah, it was unpronounceable. Yeah, I just remember it was one of those ones that had a lot of. It started with a Mick,
a lot of GHs.
You had a lot of GHs, and I think there was like 13 L's in there, something like that.
Ruin.
Yeah, something. It was because he would say it, but it just sounded like he burped.
Yeah.
I'm like,
maybe he burped. Maybe
he probably did, but he was. But I could go in there, and he knew. I mean, if I picked out somebody, and I had a question about him, and it could be any, and he might have been drunk going thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know, but he would tell me, that's a good book. That one. He goes, you like that one, but it's a little slow, so you got to give it a chance. And so he was like the expert. If I brought up a book, I think he read everything in there. It seemed like.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac Thompson's talking about a trilogy called A Soldier's Life in the comments there. Audiobooks are a solid listen. He says it's about an alternate world where Rome never fell. Well, Rome never did fall. It's called the United States now. Come on, Mac.
Just moved.
Yeah,
I have that argument with my family members growing up Catholic. It's like, no, Rome never fell, and the Roman Empire is still here. Yeah, it's the Catholic Church became the Roman Empire. It's one of the things.
Poor guy gets.
You're not wrong there. I mean, really, it's a good way to look at it, I guess.
The Byzantines might have a thing or two to say about that, but
at one point there were 3 popes too, if I remember from my history. It's like one of those. I figured a 3 pope situation. That's like a what do you call it? A DCC funnel. See who comes out alive.
That is a very rich period of history for anybody who's writing D&D world settings or backdrops. That's why I liked Chubby's Last Candle scenario, because it's a French medieval setting, I think, kind of set in the 100 Years War period.
I think so.
So many factions and stuff. Then all you have to really do is throw in, a couple of evil wizards, some monsters, and some magic, and you're set.
Yeah, my favorite part about that adventure was actually the outside of the dungeon. I wasn't a real big fan of in the dungeon that much, but the setting and the getting into everything and all the different factions, that was a lot of fun to play around with. And it was almost too much fun because it made the adventure actually like a anticlimactic compared to what was going on outside, or at least the way I perceived it, because I had so much fun. I had this whole gypsy encampment and everything, and I introduced some stuff and some cool little elements inspired by the stuff that he wrote about, and it was kind of cool. So
that's cool.
I furnished fantasy was Dragonlance.
Mike, what is you do me a favor, type in the private chat if you don't want to say it out loud, your Discord name or whatever, and I could add you in Discord, because now that we know we need to have everybody ahead of time logged in if they want to restream. I'll shoot you guys some interactions.
Thank you. I don't mind. I can share it. It's just at Erudite DM.
Okay. There's no like extra numbers or anything like that afterwards?
I'm an advertising guy in the real world, so I'm a big believer in branding and teach branding. So everything's the same across every place.
Yep.
Consistency.
Yep. It's the whole Joe the Lawyer man cave thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how the hell I add you though.
Say hi. Yeah.
Hey, this is good for Mike. Hey, Mike.
I was watching one of his videos earlier today.
Yeah, me too. He's a good guy. I enjoy his stuff. His Shadow Dark solo. He's a solo dark player also. So
yeah.
Who is this?
Scudder for Mike.
Yeah. I don't see Erudite DM. That's it, right? ERUDITE DM. Yes. Don't see it, dude. Yeah. Put the link in the private chat now. You know what I mean? That way we could.
Okay. Let me. Yeah.
You haven't been able to find anybody, have you?
This is a terrible thing. I know. I feel like I'm blocking everyone or something. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. So Death Angels, again, I just checked again. I didn't see the email from you, but send me the email at analogmancave@gmail.com, and I'll be able to basically add you into X. I don't know why it's not. I add everybody because I'm trying to grow it out as fast as I can. So yeah. And guys, tomorrow I don't know if you saw this. It was like very busy YouTube afternoon. Getting this thing set up. I pimped Greg's latest video. That a little portion of his from his long interview with me. So that's out there. That's going. I set up for my later on the fire pitch of my brother live. Hopefully it works for the first time as long as the connection is good. And what I'm going to do tomorrow is Temple of Elemental Evil live review.
Nice.
Those usually go a long time. They usually go a couple hours at least. I think.
So you're not going to do it on a Sunday then? That's good. You can rest up after it.
I figure it's Easter that way. Nobody's gonna be, and I got shit on Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's a weird weekend. Makes sense. I've changed it from Sunday interviews to just whenever I could fucking do it, the reviews. You know what I mean? Right. So I changed it. I could do it. I know it probably won't be during the week because it's just usually too much going on and too tired and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Yeah. Take it easy, Mac. Have a good game tonight, man. Roll better than
See
Tim.
you, Mike. Man. Yep.
Definitely, we can't roll worse than Tim. So that's kind of
Joe, I
know.
just sent you.
Did it a few times.
Joe, I sent you a friend request on Discord.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
Now let's see
That's
if he
easy.
blocks you, and then we'll know, Mike.
Yeah. I don't get this thing pending. There you go. All right. You are accepted, Mike. Now I can add.
Now I have a
One of us.
Yeah.
Join the cult.
Now I can add you to the my little private D&D server there. I just sent you that request, and then I could add you. Once you do that, I could add you to the Iron Rations one. That's where we put all the links and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah,
That's where Eric puts his links to sometimes for his when we do the random party generator, Mike. So now you can join us in that one too if you want sometime.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It's an easier way. It just became the default thing because the
It
Friday
did.
night chat was just me and Eric, and we called it Iron Rations. And so I created this thing for the Iron Rations link for everyone to join in, and it just grew. So now it's just a default place to go, so it kind of works.
Was
out.
hardtack biscuit already taken?
What's that?
I said, was hardtack biscuit already taken? You went with Iron Rations.
I don't know why. I think I came up with the name and he came up with the logo. We had a decent logo. And then we invited Rob once to explain AI or Bitcoin, something about Bitcoin and related to that kind of bullshit, right?
Yeah,
and
I warned you guys. If you invite him in, he's going to be like gum on your boot, and you're not going to be able to get out.
It just became a thing. Rob just always kept coming back. I remember this movie High Fidelity, right? It was John Cusack and Jack Black's maybe his first movie and this and that, and it was a really good. It was one of my favorite movies. It's like Desert Island, stack of 10. That's going with me, right? And I remember he was talking about Jack Black's character because he always did the break the fourth wall thing during the movie. Right. And he says if Jack Black's character walks in, he's a lunatic maniac like every Jack Black character ever done, right? And so he walks in and he goes and he breaks the fourth wall. He says, I hired this guy for like a day or two a week. He just keeps coming every single day. And I remember that related to Rob. We invited him once and he just never leaves. But we opened it up to everybody, and everybody just started. And then I said, well, we got to call it something different than Iron Rations. And Eric, within a millisecond, came up with random party generator. I'm like, perfect. It was like that fast. He just boom, it was perfect. Yeah. So I sent you. I don't know. Are you a member now, Mike? Did you join the channel?
Oh God, I don't know.
All right. Well, whenever you do, I'll send you the link for Iron Rations, and I can put the link.
I've been invited to join your server. Yes.
There it is.
Age restricted. I'm sorry. I'm 19.
Age restricted. Did I do that?
Well, they probably because you swear so much. They're like, no, this got to be. You can't let kids in this.
Yeah, I'm in, Joe. I got it.
All right, cool. Let me give you the permission for the Iron Ration. I don't know. Not everybody has that. I don't know why I did that broken out. I don't even know why. But now I got to add you. There you are.
Thank you, sir.
And the Death Dealer, those were fantastic. I love the Death Dealer.
All right, you're in there, man. So now you can see the Iron Ration. I'll put the link in the Iron Rations before ahead of time. That way you can hit your channel if you want to join. No obligation, obviously.
No, appreciate
you know what I mean.
Appreciate
so yeah, we'll do that afterwards. But yeah, I got to head out in about 5 minutes, guys, because I want to get everything ready for this 9 o'clock show.
Well, we got to say congrats again on 3,500. That's a.
Thank you.
I know you've been seriously working your tail off since late.
Trying. I've been trying.
I got a question though.
Yes, sir.
When are you going to get back to your book?
That's what I'm just going to say that. Actually, I was telling my brother we met for a beer last night, and I said to him, in the last month or so, I've been trying to work on the channel, the reviews, the interviews. I'm trying to grow the base. I'm trying to pay for Restream. I got X going. I got my Facebook group going. I got the Substack going. I've been trying to broaden the base so I have more exposure everywhere because I know YouTube is fucking us, right? Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. So what I've been trying to do that, and so now this week after Easter, it's the new beginning. I'm going to get back to the book. I'm going to do at least 4 or 5 a week on the book, and I still got all these interviews and the reviews and all that stuff coming in. We'll have at least 8 or 9 more clips from Greg's interview. We get Joe Block, we get James Radji out there. We'll get a bunch of clips from those interviews because I know they're 3 or 4 hours. Nobody wants to listen to that shit, Or some people really love that shit. I do. I love the long ones because I could listen all day long, but. some people just like give me a brief clip on what he said about something, and I don't care about the rest of it. So I'm going to be doing that as well, So I'll be hitting that. And like I said before, everybody's asking me for this YouTube. I'm sorry, Discord. So I set up already an Analog Man Cave Discord server. It's a different one than what we use. Maybe I'll just set that up tomorrow during the day and open it up for everybody. Everybody's asking for the fucking Discord. I didn't realize that it would be such a popular item. It's everybody, Tim. It's weird. So I
just never use mine except to get on and then I leave and never come back.
That's it. Yeah.
Next thing,
yeah. Huh. I know Eric's is a big deal. He has a lot of.
Eric wants to join. So is Kelsey's, or because Greg's on there all the time. I guess he always says he's on there, and I never even think about going on there. But to me, it's like a forum. It's a bunch of noise to me. It's just a lot of 100 things going on.
I have a little trouble finding one.
Howard Hughes. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You must be the real fucking Howard Hughes. I've gotten more.
I was gonna say
out of you for big money than anybody ever. Appreciate that, buddy. I appreciate that. 35. I get it. 35, 300, 3,500. All right, I get it. It's clicking there. Nice. Here's to you, Howard. And Howard, because of you, like I said, the next one is going to be tomorrow night is going to be Temple of Elemental Evil, and then a couple weeks later it's going to be Barrow Maze, because that's what you asked for. So, and it's going to remember, I'm not a fan of Barrow Maze. I don't like so Tim had a suggestion, because I said I don't want to give negative reviews, and he says, "Well, do something that makes it better." I'm like, "All right, I can do that."
Well, I said, "Yeah, like because you've run Temple of Elemental Evil and different things, and the ones you run, like you did the one time, it's like we did for Forest Oracle. Although you had a hard time trying to make it better, you just wanted to bitch about that.
I wanted to burn it. Yeah, yeah, but that's how to make it better. I might use that as a fire starter tonight. The fire pit. Take my Forest Oracle module and throw it in there just to get it going.
It's hard to argue that. Yeah, it's very hard to argue that.
Well, our approach to that was so different, Tim, because I remember the module writing approach. You start from the granular level with what would you do in this situation? And I'm like, we have to define what a druid is. All right. And then we could drill down from there.
Oh, and you're like, did you see that one, Mike? I'm trying to. So Joe wants to wants us to write I think it was a one-shot adventure. And within the first half hour, Joe has multi-locations. He's got different bosses. I'm like, Joe, it's a one-shot. We got to keep it. I couldn't keep him contained. He was just all over the place. He was just like over here and over here. Like,
he was probably looking for some shopping in the area and wanted to go.
Of course. Looking for the Walmart or the Amazon.
Bring his little goblin purse and go from store to store and sprinkle the silver pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our one-shot ended up with, and I use one shot like this, with what? Three main locations, 3 different bosses, and a hex crawl,
of course,
and then the main dungeon area with 2 factions battling. So yeah, I mean,
we gotta finish that at some point.
Wait. Who has to? Because you said you.
I know. I volunteered to write the fucking thing, and I will get it done. Goddammit.
We did all the formatting, and you said no. I'm going to do the writing for it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the writing. Mm-hmm. I know. And I here. Let's make this bet, Tim, for a beer or whatever drink you want next time at ShireCon. Who finishes first, me that adventure or you the Kickstarter?
Yeah, either one of them. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take you that bet. I will win that bet.
Oh, you think we're having a vow that the Kickstarter will be done by ShireCon 2025? Is that a vow?
I'm hoping.
You're making a vow.
Now I can never vow anything.
You heard it here first.
Can we do anybody who could do the Yoda voice?
I am hoping.
Do not try not just do. Right.
I am hoping it is zipped up, done, and by this summer. I mean, ready to put in the printer and go out. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. All right, that's good, man. That's good. All right, you heard it here first, boys and girls. It will be done by this summer, ready to go out. And knowing that the bet, since I'm Tim's editor, is in my hands for winning this, I can guarantee you that I will finish my shit first before him.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, he does have some cards over my head. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
God.
I'm the editor of the Mind Flayer adventure also.
You are. You're editor. Oh, fuck, yeah. You're fired, Tim. I can't fire you because I don't know how to do this fucking publisher bullshit, so I need you. You know, I could write, but I don't know how to use publisher or any of the whatever the fuck we're doing here.
Right.
So, yeah. So we both
Funny.
need. We're in bed together. Goddamn. it.
Yeah,
Don't tell
we're kind of
Don't tell Ivy, though. Maybe we'll release it the same day. How about that? We'll do
There we
a
go.
simultaneous release. That way nobody loses. But Matt, if Matt motherfucker comes up to ShireCon, he still owes me that shit, man. He owes me
He does.
and $100. And I owe Eric and Rachel because then it was just Eric, but I can't buy Eric dinner or not Rachel dinner. So I owe Eric and Rachel dinner and $100.
Right.
So whatever Matt gives me for $100 to the charity goes right to Eric for so that's an easy wash, right? So Matt buys me my dinner and I buy Eric and Rachel their dinner. I guarantee you, I'm a big fucker. I will eat more than Eric and Rachel will eat. And these drinks, they're not gonna be Maker's Mark, bitch. That shit's gonna be high end. Buffalo Trace. All right, we're going. Maybe an Eagle Rare might be broken out here. You know, yeah. So it's gonna be. Maybe I'll make mixed drinks based on Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace, just to fuck Matt. You know, it's assuming his wife lets him play. You know, he got married now, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, but I thought they were coming up together.
That we'll see, dude. You know, there's plans, and then there's what happens when a fucking, you know, the bullet, the tires hit the road, right? So
that's true.
That's kind of a bitch, right? I mean, so you got to really think that he's not going to put his foot down, you know, and actually, you know, say I'm going to do this, and we're going, woman. I'm the man of the house. That doesn't happen in Matt's household. We know that.
It doesn't happen to anybody's household, Joe.
What happened to June Cleaver's household, right, Mike? That's why like it. You know?
Yeah, Joe's got this little fantasy because he's not married, so he doesn't know how it works. He doesn't have any. His opinions are based in some weird misogynistic world or something like that. Back in the 1950s.
Oh, I do like my old fashions.
You do like your old fashions.
I'm just saying here, you know.
Yeah,
just saying. So
that's funny.
47 people. Now, what I think is going on. This is a little aside here. Because when Greg was doing my the whole thing, he did his on X and I did mine on X, and Greg's brought in like 100-something people on X, right? Yeah, and it was like Jesus Christ. But here's the weird thing about X is that the viewer keeps growing and never goes down. I think the way X reports it, because I'm looking at my X channel right now. Okay, right. I'm looking at X right now, and it says there are X amount of viewers, 14 people who have viewed it, right? Not viewers viewed it. And right now I'm looking at this, it's 14 people. So I think that they just, then it's not a simultaneous viewership. I think it's not who's viewing right now, it's how many people have viewed it. So the numbers are a bit skewed. It's not currently viewing, it's how many people have viewed it throughout the course of the beginning to end. So that's a little bit different. Whereas the other channels, you know, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble, they all show who's currently viewing. Huh?
You're doing Twitch also, right?
I do Twitch, yes. Yeah. Right now over on Twitch, I have one viewer. It might be me because I'm watching myself, so I don't know.
That's all I ever have is one viewer. But I don't have any followers, so it doesn't make much difference.
Yeah. And I think
I set it up years ago, but
it's worth it. I mean, because I think that Critical Role started on Twitch, I think. Right? They imported over to YouTube. So I figured, what the hell? I mean, I think the people who on Twitch like to watch people play games. They don't like to watch these kinds of things, right? They like to watch people play video games or D&D games. So I think that once I get my campaign going, if I get a Twitch membership subscriber thing going, I could show it on there and might get more viewers. I don't know. I'm just building the foundation for later. You know what I mean? But in any case, guys, I got to go. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Joe.
Mike, Tim, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who subscribed. I got a couple of new subs, and I got like $40 in super chats again. All you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Membership links are below. Subscribe to my Substack newsletter. Link is below. Links for every fucking thing are below. Subscribe to Tim's channel, Mike's channel. You got to grow them too. We got to help each other out here because YouTube is fucking us, right? So we all got to cross stream. We all got to cross brand, as Mike knows. We got to help each other out because there's no other way to do it because YouTube is just kind of screwing us. You know what I mean? So help everybody out. HBO, help a brother out, right? So that's what we're all about here. You know, so thank you very much. Thank you, Flynn. Thanks for being a subscriber today, Flynn, a member of the channel. Appreciate that, man. All right. And
that's why it took him so long.
Night, Paul.
I think I just subscribed to Flynn's channel the other night because I was I was at the gym. I'm like, I couldn't subscribe on the phone. I'm like, why can't I do it? So I got home and I tried it and I did it. And it worked. So I guess you had to do it on the computer. You can't do it on the phone or something. So he's just, I scrubbed him. He scrubbed us. So yeah, it's all good, man. So I appreciate everybody here. I got to get ready and head over to my brother's house. I got to stop for a beer run first. We got some supplies. I got to fill the bowl. I got a travel bowl. It's really
make sure you get some treats for Roscoe.
Roscoe, he's looking for treats. He doesn't care about our treats. He's looking for the animal, the live treats.
I know he's trying to hunt down rabbits.
He's going to kill everything in sight if he can. Yeah.
Who's your brother online, Joe? Is he Tom?
He's not online. No, but I'm going to tell him because he's been talking about my brother.
Bob the electrician?
No, my brother is he's been talking about a YouTube channel for a long time now about Lord of the Rings, and he's like, I'm gonna grow bigger than you because because it's a bigger base, more players, this and then more people like Lord of the Rings, yada yada. And so he follows all these. I think him and Rob got on a little Lord of the Rings duel one time live on one of the Friday night games, and my brother schooled Rob on his lore, which is kind of enjoyable because anybody schools Rob sometimes. But my brother knows a lot about Lord of the Rings. He's like, he listens to the Silmarillion on by the fire pit every year for 18 years. He knows his shit when it comes to Lord of the Rings, and he watches all these channels. So I've been trying to get him to do a fucking channel. I even had him over to the house one afternoon for an hour. I said, "This is how you do it. Look, it took me a couple of years to learn all these little things. I can show you this shit in a couple of weeks. You'll get going and get growing."
So I'm quiz show one night with him.
What's that?
Do a quiz show format.
That's what I'm going to do. It's funny you say that. I'm going to ask the audience to pose my brother Lord of the Rings questions to see if he can answer the questions. So I'm going to put him on the spot, and the more he drinks, the worse his brain's going to get. So it's going to be pretty entertaining, So anybody who's at 9:00 p.m. thereabouts in about an hour, we're going to be live from my brother's backyard on my iPad, assuming it all goes well. I'm hoping it all goes well. It all comes down to, honestly, the Wi-Fi reception in the backyard. Now, I know we've gotten Wi-Fi on the phone for songs. I'm hoping the video is strong enough. I'm only doing 720p. I'm not doing HD because I'm not going to test it.
Oh, so you are doing video there then too?
We're doing video because, Tim, every time before, a fire pit's been recorded on my phone, and I upload it later after I splice it with a looped fire. You know what I mean? So this is the first ever live fire pit, and it will be a live recording. He doesn't know what the Rob does. That is true. I'll give you that. He does not know.
No, he does not.
There's the first question for the quiz show.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, then again, thank you very much. Thank you for the members, subscribers, super chats. Thank you, Tim, Mike, Eric, Paul, for joining in here. Appreciate everything, and all you guys are awesome. So thanks for making this a great time, and I'm having more fun than ever doing YouTube. So it's really cool. Really cool. Thank you all later. I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you about an hour. Okay? I got to get some beer.
See you, Joe.